Okay, Stacy, I'm making the home video for you to put on YouTube, and here we are up in the sleepy rural town, I guess, of Elberton, or actually it's more accurate to say that it's outside of Elberton, between that town and Harwell. And these are the Guidestones. You said you and Monica had been here before, and I had heard about these stones when I was running the store for You Can Rent in Elberton, and I'd heard a lot as far as local legend and what they were supposed to be, but nobody could really accurately nail it down as far as what they actually were. And I never took the time at that time to really find out what this was. But I've since done quite a bit of research on it, so I thought I'd ride up here and see it for myself and take a little video footage to try to upload to YouTube. And I'm just going to kind of move around. According to internet sources that you read, and there are more than ample websites that speak or address the issues about these stones, these stones are barely known about. They have a very limited degree of exposure and notoriety, while other websites will tell you that celebrities and politicians alike are actually familiar with these stones and their supposed significance. So what we're going to do is just kind of take a tour around it and take a look at what's here. So for the sake of the people at home, what we'll do is we'll sort of pan around with the camera just to give you some context to show you where we are. It's been reported that these monuments sit on what is said to be the highest point in terms of altitude in Elbert County. Whether that's the case or not, I don't know. But we're basically on the edge of pasture lands here. And you can see that there's a hedgerow that sort of frames off this monument. And it's a pretty inconspicuous and strange location for a monument like this. But on the other hand, conversely, it stands out like the proverbial sore thumb. Certainly in rural northeast Georgia, you would not expect to find a highly stylized American version of Stonehenge, but nevertheless, here it is. And we're literally out in the middle of nowhere, really. And people are pulling up now behind me even as I speak. Alright, Stace, here's another little brief bit. This is the granite marker that offers you some instruction and some information about the monument. And of course, right here, as we sort of focus in, you're getting some astronomical information about the physical characteristics of the monument itself. And of course, that information is readily available on endless numbers of websites. And you can see here that it was placed 6 feet under this marker on an unspecified date and to be opened on an unspecified date. And I will email you later about my thoughts on that. And if we go over here, we get some additional physical characteristics and information about the Guidestones. Okay? And down here, and you'll have to pardon my shadow, what you get is essentially an overhead of the Guidestones. There are directional markers on this slab of granite indicating the various directions, east, west, north, south. And it tells you which languages are on which wall. And quite frankly, I find this place to be a little creepy, to be honest with you. We don't know if there's actually a time capsule buried under this concrete slab or not. But this whole thing is a bit of an oddity if you think about it. Why would you have essentially a monument to New Ageism and pagan religion in the middle of a rural, sleepy northeast Georgia town? And really in the middle of a pasture, essentially. And conversely, it can also be said, or asked, where better to put such a monument to be able to garner so much attention? I mean, this monument sitting out here in the middle of a pasture would certainly be an attention getter, would it not? And it is just bound to grab attention from all over the county, the state, ultimately this nation, and in fact perhaps the whole world. So as we go around the monument, of course the capstone, as we know, for anybody who's researched it on the internet, you know yourself that there is a message inscribed, and you can see that here. And let me look down and see. This would be the western side of the capstone. And on this side, those are Egyptian hieroglyphics, are what those are. So on the far side, you would see the same message in classic Greek characters. On the southern side, you would have Sanskrit. And on the northern part of the capstone, you would have Babylonian cuneiform. I mean, all four of these are dead languages, we know. Nobody in the world today speaks these four ancient languages. And of course, you have an oblique slot in the middle of the center column that is set on the North Star. There's also a slot in the capstone. I don't know if you can see that here, but the sun is supposed to shine directly down at exactly noon every day. And I just missed that today. So basically what we're looking at here on the west side of the monument, the languages that we would be looking at would be Chinese on the left and Arabic on the right. And if we step around, which is what I'm going to try to do here, is here we have the message in English. And of course, Walter Cronkite and Jimmy Carter and other like-minded individuals would be somewhat euphoric over any additional support for a world court, particularly an international criminal court.